Sydney has been warned it will be almost impossible to lift its lockdown at the end of this week. More than 110 local cases have been detected in New South Wales in the past 24 hours. Most were in Sydney, marking 3 consecutive days of record numbers. The outbreak has worsened despite a lockdown that is now in its 3rd week.
In terms of the number of people that were exposed in the community whilst they were infectious, there are at least 34, and that is the number that we need to see as close to zero as possible before health will advise the government that the lockdown can end. So can I stress that is the number that we need to see go down to as close to zero as possible before we can get advice from health to say the lockdown can end.
Danielle Robertson joins us from Sydney for more. Danielle, why are cases or case numbers hitting record levels despite the lockdown?
Yeah, well, the Premier did warn today that the biggest risk of getting COVID here at the moment is in your own home. She warned that many people are passing on the virus to family members within the household. She said that it's basically because people aren't refraining from visiting relatives, and she warned, making a harsh warning, that many people who aren't following the rules are passing on the virus to the ones that they love the most. And also the vaccine numbers and the positive case numbers are a little bit behind. So people who are testing positive today or this week may have had the virus last week and have already spread it throughout the community. So there's a bit of a lag in the numbers in that sense. So it's hard to tell whether or not the stricter restrictions will take on any effect for a little while yet. Considering that Sydney has now recorded its first COVID death this year, it does seem that people are now listening to the rules. But the only way we can get these numbers down is if everybody listens to the rules and adheres to the COVID guidelines.
At the same time, Danielle, there is backlash over the government's new vaccination campaign.
Yeah, so a vaccination ad that was rolled out this week does show a young woman who is struggling to breathe and is on a ventilator, and then it warns people to stay home and to get vaccinated. Now, it's faced a wave of criticism, and the government has come under fire for it because critics say it unfairly targets young people who have the most limited access to vaccinations. So people here under the age of 40 can apply to get the AstraZeneca vaccine, but many people have said they've struggled to make a booking, and the Pfizer vaccine is only available to people over the age of 40. So that's why this ad has faced a lot of criticism, and it was really targeted and aimed at only Sydney at the moment, really coinciding with the current outbreak. But interestingly tonight, the expert panel that recommends Australia's vaccine rollout is now reconsidering the AstraZeneca recommendation. They are considering lowering the threshold for the AstraZeneca vaccine and may change their risk threshold as well in line with Sydney's current outbreak. So there are a few developments tonight. Things could change, but it does seem that Australia's disastrous vaccination rollout is constantly making headlines around the world on its failures.
Yeah, thanks for that, Danielle. Danielle Robertson speaking to us from Sydney.